So like the game against Atletico Madrid on Wednesday night, from the first 10 minutes of this game you could see what the pattern of the game was going to be. Watford were pretty content to sit passively in a 4-5-1 shape, allowing United centre-backs to dribble out of their defensive third with the ball, as Watford were more concerned with sitting in a deep compact defensive unit. And so for pretty much the whole game it seemed like the game was just in the 2/3 of the middle and the Watford defensive third, with Manchester United controlling possession, having the task of breaking Watford down, and they did this, and they did change possession shape from what we've seen them use in recent weeks. But before I break everything down in more detail, let me tell you about today's sponsor, OneFootball, which is my go-to football app for the news and results updates that I need, as well as player transfer news and following everything with Manchester United right now. I would say that it's the most convenient place to find out what's going on in the football world, as sometimes when I'm on Twitter or Instagram, I spend ages trying to find different news items, whereas OneFootball has it all in one place. They've also got highlights from different leagues around the world, as well as other video football content as well. And the best part is that it's completely free to download. A link will be left in the description below, and by downloading the app you would be helping to support the channel as well. In recent weeks they have been using a 4-3-3, which does become a 2-3-2-3 possession shape, with Scott McTominay being the player to play as a deep single pivot in recent games, and Pogba and Bruno Fernandes pushing ahead, playing as false eights in between the lines. However, in this game, with Matic and Fred at the base of United's midfield, they used more of their conventional 2-4-3-1 possession shape, which was pretty much the sole possession shape they would use under Solskjaer and at the start of Rangnick's time, with this shape resembling more of a 4-2-3-1 than a 4-3-3. And this was an asymmetric 4-2-3-1, as Pogba and Fernandes would move infield in between the lines, whilst Elanga would hold the width on the right side. This would allow Alex Telles to push further forward down the left side, creating a 4 in behind Ronaldo. And because Elanga was providing the width on the right side, we would see Aaron Wan-Bissaka sit a lot deeper on the right side, almost creating a back three at times. And so this meant that United's 2-4-3-1 shape would move to a 2-3-4-1 in the middle and final third. But unlike in the Champions League against Atletico Madrid on Wednesday, United didn't actually struggle to create chances in this game. They recorded an XG of 2.41, whereas against Atletico Madrid this number was 0.41. And this was because Watford didn't actually do a great job of stopping United progressing the ball into the final third. They sat so deep that United were pretty much already in their half within a few passes from their build-up. Diego Dalot was on the bench for Manchester United, and I can't understand why he didn't start, as United were obviously going to have the ball in a lot of these crossing positions, and Diego Dalot's crossing ability is significantly better than Wan-Bissaka's. But Wan-Bissaka did actually manage to create a decent half chance for Ronaldo, which was actually a bit too deep and was dragged too far, but Ronaldo was able to control the ball and get his shot away, which did hit the post. We saw on the left side that Alex Telles' crossing was a lot better than Wan-Bissaka's, and United actually had a goal disallowed from one of these positions. You see here that Telles is sitting high and wide, with Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes both drifting infield into central positions. Ronaldo just strays offside, and so the goal is ruled out, but this was a great example of United creating many chances in this game. And so they had a different problem to the one that they've had most of the season. Most of the time they've actually struggled to either progress the ball into the final third or create when they get into the final third. However, this game was different, and I think the best chance of the first half did come for Bruno Fernandes. A turnover happens in United's half, and you can see here as Matic picks up the ball that Watford's central midfield are high up the pitch, and so there's a massive amount of space for United to break into. As I've said in my recent analysis videos of United's games over the last few weeks, their attack is at its best and most fluid when they do transition it quickly. The ball from Matic goes into Elanga and he drives the play forward, plays a great 1-2 with Ronaldo. And now you can see here that Bruno Fernandes smartly has made a run ahead of play, which he did very frequently throughout this game. You would often see Ronaldo maybe spinning out to the left side, and Bruno Fernandes, rather than doing what many number 10s would do, which would be to sit between the lines and be the side's advanced creator, instead he looks to make runs ahead of play, and he gets into this goal scoring position in a one-on-one, and he has to score, but he hits it straight at Ben Foster, squandering a great chance. And then Fernandes missed another big chance when Pogba got the ball on the left side and put in an in-swinging cross, and because Fernandes had made a late run into the box, he was in massive amounts of space, but just couldn't get the right contact on the ball to put it past Foster. Now, if you ignore the actual scoreline, I think you have to say that United did play well, certainly in the first half. But you would expect that, considering the type of Watford side they were playing against. Watford were content to basically allow United to move into their own half, and they were nowhere near as organised positionally as Atletico Madrid were on Wednesday, and when in the final third I did think they were incredibly passive with their defending. The Watford midfield and defensive line seemed reluctant to put in tackles, and it was like they were almost willing United to progress the ball into the final third. Now, the biggest positive in this game for United was actually the performance of Nemanja Matic, as I think he drastically improved United's ability to progress the ball forward. And I think think his passing ability from deep, whether this is long passes out wide or incisive passes into players between the lines, was probably the main reason why United actually didn't have any trouble in this game creating chances. It was just the finishing that let them down. When Fred or McTominay play deep in central midfield, United don't really have the ability to move the ball forward vertically quickly, because Fred and McTominay often choose the safer pass, preferring to circulate possession and keep the ball, rather than trying those incisive passes into the likes of Pogba and Fernandes between the lines. And because Pogba and Fernandes were basically playing as a midfield double pivot in an advanced position between the lines with Matic and Fred behind them, Matic's passing became even more vital, because now United didn't have Paul Pogba in one of those deeper positions to get on the ball and progress the ball for a pass or a dribble. But United's ability to actually take these chances, not just in this game but in recent weeks, has been incredibly poor, and we saw this carry on in the second half. But going into the second half, I still had confidence that United would probably be able to at least get one goal in this game, because it continued to look like they would be creating big chances, and Watford didn't really offer anything going forward. Watford seemed completely disjointed, and it's like they don't really have an attacking plan. They would win the ball back, and it was usually Ismaili Sarr or Sissoko who would drive forward with the ball and get Watford into United's half in a good counter-attacking position. But then when the ball would move out to Josh King or Emmanuel Dennis, the attack would slow down, and Watford weren't looking for those quick forward passes that they would have needed to create chances in this game. And their hesitance in attack would allow United to get back behind the ball, resulting in a pass backwards or sideways, and then the opportunity to move into United's box would be gone. And this resulted in Watford only recorded an XG of 0.44, which shows that United weren't actually in that much danger of actually conceding, as they have been in previous games, with the likes of Burnley and Southampton coming to mind. And so this game seemed like a game that United had in their clutches and just completely fumbled. Elanga then missed a gilt-edged chance in the second half, and it actually did show that United have improved their ability to progress the ball into these chance-creating positions, with Elanga going past a few players on the right side, playing the ball back to Fred, who plays an excellent forward pass into Paul Pogba on the edge of the box, whose flick is absolutely world-class. And United's move up until the finish is absolutely top level, but Elanga just can't get his left foot around the ball and shanks it wide. Ronaldo also had a big chance when Bruno Fernandes won the ball back inside Watford's box and put the ball across the box for Ronaldo, who just scuffed the finish, couldn't get it out of his feet. And if you look at the clear-cut chances that United missed in this game, the Bruno Fernandes one-on-one, the Bruno Fernandes one from Pogba's cross, the Elanga one, and possibly that Ronaldo one as well, that's 3 or 4 huge chances that United have to be scoring. There's only a certain amount of blame that can go on the system or the manager's individual choices. I do think that Dalot has to be starting over Wan-Bissaka in games like this. And also United's options off the bench are pretty limited as well. They brought on Rashford, who really didn't do anything to really create anything of any substance, which does correlate with his form of late. The problem that United have is that they're so over-reliant on Bruno Fernandes and Ronaldo's goal scoring that when either one of them, or in this situation both, are just out of form and cannot seem to get the ball into the back of the net, United don't score at all. If you look at Manchester City or Liverpool's squad, they have 3 or 4 key players who are very good finishers. If you look at Liverpool, they've got Salah, Mane, Luis Diaz and now Diego Jota, with Manchester City having the likes of Phil Foden, Raheem Sterling, Riyad Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, etc. So they can spread out the chances a lot more, and if one of them, say Phil Foden or Raheem Sterling, who does often have off games and misses quite a few big chances, City do have other players who can then finish those chances. However, United really only have 2 top-level finishers in their side, which is Bruno Fernandes and Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't think Jadon Sancho is the best finisher when he gets the chances himself. He's a very good creator of chances, especially on the counter, but he's someone that does need to improve his finishing, as does Anthony Elanga. And off the bench, players like Jesse Lingard and Marcus Rashford are just completely out of form, so United don't really have this killer finisher when Fernandes and Ronaldo are out of form, which they are at the moment. And that's what's been costing United, not just in this game, but in recent games as well. If you look at their XG numbers, they are actually creating chances, which was their fundamental issue under Solskjaer, and even at the start of Rangnick's reign, they just weren't able to progress the ball into the final third, then create from there. However, they are doing this now, which I suppose is a good thing, because it does mean the system's coming together. And once players like Fernandes and Ronaldo can find their goal-scoring touch again, I think we will see United's form and performances pick up considerably. However, the only thing is, when is this going to come back? We're now coming into the latter end of the season. There's only a few months left. United desperately need the likes of Fernandes and Ronaldo to find that goal-scoring form which they had at the start of the season. And the fact that Mason Greenwood's absent as well, and he's probably United's best finisher other than Ronaldo, just compounds the situation further. And I think United in the transfer window in the summer have to be looking to improve their overall finishing ability throughout the starting 11 and not just rely on the likes of Fernandes or Ronaldo.